Hi, I'm Samuel. I'm 28 years old, and I was born and raised in Massachusetts. I had been practicing yoga and meditation for quite a few years, and had some brilliant experiences with that, and did some pretty significant work, and realized that I was pushing too much on my own, and that I needed a really powerful teacher who hadn't come my way in those traditions yet. And the more research I did into shamanic rites of passage, the more I knew that I needed to come to the Amazon and meet a teacher here and experience this path of jungle alchemy, which I knew would synchronize perfectly with yoga, but take me to new levels and much deeper than I was ever able to go with my own work. I can say after 11 ayahuasca ceremonies that there definitely comes to be a continuum in your journey, that you keep returning to the same themes, and you recognize that there's a coherent start and finish to each phase of your journey with ayahuasca. And she has always given me exactly what I needed and exactly how much I could handle. She's very merciful in that respect. You might feel like you're totally overwhelmed in a ceremony, but actually your capacities are just being expanded, and she knows how much you can be expanded in one shot. And over time, she just keeps working on you piece by piece. And she always gives the proper diagnosis for where you're at and for the questions that you ask. So my journey with ayahuasca has not proceeded as I imagined or as I asked for, because there was definitely a more knowing agenda that was working on me. So I was given a diagnosis after each ceremony of what comes next. What is the work that needs to be done next? And she's very specific and very loving, and she's not going to do anything for you that you could do for yourself. So the lessons are all about seeing how you can pull yourself up, step by step. And at this point, I know exactly what I need to do when I leave the retreat. I have no idea what my broad future and destiny are, but in terms of taking specific steps, I've been shown what to do, and I know I'm going to do it. When I met Don Enrique, I had been reserving any judgment or any evaluation of him until I could finally meet him. And my first impression, even just seeing him from a distance on the street in Iquitos, was this man is safe to bow to. I can bow my heart to this man, and he embodies everything beautiful about the natural hierarchy that you feel so strongly in the Amazon. He is, as a person who you interact with outside of ceremony, just hanging out and eating meals and listening to him talk here at the jungle camp. He's just a person full of grace and charm and elegance and laughter. So he's our father, definitely. I think everybody who meets him feels that. And in terms of how you come to perceive Don Enrique in ceremony, maybe that's something that shouldn't be said too much about, because it's just kind of overwhelming to think back on how he reveals himself in ceremony. He has power that I was barely able to glimpse and comprehend, even when ayahuasca was really powerfully with me, and I could see clearly. I was just beginning to get to know Maestro, Don Enrique. What I'm going to take away from this retreat is a totally blasted open perspective, because I came down here like I imagine pretty much everybody does, with my sphere of concern being a really close orbit around my skull. Like, what the hell am I going to do with my life? How am I going to find my proper work? How am I going to meet true friends? How am I going to deal with this unbelievably weighty ball of anguish and confusion and lonesomeness, which, pretty much every human being carries. So I was able to work that perspective out, that kind of self-obsession out, to the point that maybe it even happened in the first ceremony. Just my perspective was blasted wide open to be a concern for what's happening in the solar system and what is the destiny of our planet, and how is God working through the mystery of all of this turmoil and suffering. Because at some point that makes perfect sense, that nothing is amiss in this world, nothing is wrong. It's just a matter of aligning your perspective to see how everything is working beautifully in its own way. So what I'm leaving this retreat with is that wide open perspective, and a certain contentment that my life is very much on track, that I am on my path, and I know precisely what the next step is going to be, to continue the work of this retreat and continue all the blessings of this energy and this healing that's running really powerfully through me now. I'd say if you're considering coming to Peru to drink ayahuasca, and you're doing your homework, and you feel that this is an essential step in your path, then you already know that you are going to come here, and you already feel that ayahuasca knows you're coming, and she's already working on you, and that's going to make perfect sense when you finally join your first ceremony here. So in terms of advice that I'm going to give friends and family who are ready to hear it, it's so obvious. This is the retreat to come to. Don Enrique is the maestro to meet, and Carlos Tanner is the guide to make it all happen for you. The bridge has been built, and it couldn't be more easy and comfortable on top of all that. And in terms of value of what you're paying for with these retreats, it's a no-brainer. You see the money going to the Mishana community here, and it just seems like a totally fair shake. It's an absolute bargain. So don't hesitate if you're at the point of knowing that you need to come to Peru and meet a healer and drink ayahuasca.